Boardwalk Empire star Michael Shannon details his chaotic first meeting with the show's executive producer and famed film director, Martin Scorsese. Running on HBO for 5 seasons and based on the non-fiction book of the same name by Nelson Johnson, Broadwalk Empire is a crime drama series that takes place mainly in Atlantic City, New Jersey, during the Prohibition era. The story focused on Steve Buscemi as Nucky Thompson, a powerful political boss loosely based on a real-life figure. Along with Buscemi and Shannon, who played Nelson Van Alden, the Broadwalk Empire cast featured a large group of main and recurring actors such as Charlie Cox and Jeffrey Wright. Looking back on his career for Vanity Fair, Shannon reflected on meeting the legendary Scorsese for the first time. Shannon mentions how he learned about having a conversation with Scorsese and how he had to deal with terrible traffic on the way to the meeting. "I got a call from my manager and he said, 'Did you watch The Sopranos?' I was like, 'Hey, why?' He said, 'Well, the fellow that made that, Terrence Winter, he's making another show called Boardwalk Empire, and he wants to meet with you about it.' I was like, 'Oh wow, okay.' My manager said, 'It'll be him and Martin Scorsese.' I said, 'Can you repeat that?' It was on a day that I was shooting up in Hudson, and they were like, 'Look, just as soon as you're done shooting, get in a car and get to the hotel as quick as you can, because they're waiting for you.' The day of the meeting, we go overtime. They finally go, 'Okay, we got it. That's a wrap.' I bolt out of that chair, and I'm like, 'Get me in that car.' I get on the road to Manhattan, bumper to bumper traffic, like a freaking parking lot, without a doubt the longest car ride of my entire life. I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. I finally get to the freaking hotel. Thank God they're still there. And I'm so fried from being so stressed out about getting there, and Scorsese just starts, in a fast-paced voice, 'So, the show's about this and that and la la la, and it's set in the Prohibition. Do you know much about this period in time? Because da 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 da.' And Terrence Winter's just sitting there, and it's all going through one ear and out the other, and I'm like, uh-huh. Oh, huh. And then Terrence Winter's like, 'We don't want you to play a gangster or a mobster, or something. We want you to play like the Elliot Ness guy.' I asked, 'So, I'm like the good guy?' They're like, 'Yeah. Ray Romano in vinyl in a wide-collared shirt and jacket, in a 1970s office, with a beard and 70s haircut, although he's an iconic filmmaker known for seminal works like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver. Scorsese has a few notable television credits. With Broadwalk Empire, he directed the premiere episode and served as executive producer. Although he originally planned to act in a producing capacity, series creator Terrence Winter shared how Scorsese was inspired to direct after reading the script for the first episode. Scorsese directed the debut episode of Vinyl and wrote the story of that first installment. The series boasted an impressive creative team, which included Winter, music legend Mick Jagger, and notable writer Rich Cohen. Vinyl debuted in 2016 on HBO, following the music scene in the 1970s. Although the show was not a hit, with HBO reversing its renewal of Season 2, there was criticism that HBO Max removed Vinyl from its platform in 2022. In addition to helming television specials and documentaries, Scorsese directed an episode of Amazing Stories in 1986. Collaborating with Steven Spielberg, who'd created the anthology, Scorsese's episode was titled Mirror, Mirror. It followed a horror novelist, Sam Waterston, haunted by a figure, Tim Robbins, in the mirror. Broadwalk Empire, then, joins a list of the very few scripted shows that Scorsese was involved with.